guys, that's your Racial Legends. Welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you're going through something and you need them out there today. As I always say here, I get my best video ideas from you guys. And today's shout out is going to go to MLG Candy Pop. MLG Candy Pop make a video on which champions deserve to be upgraded to a legendary or mythical and those that should be demoted. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the demotion idea or part of this concept for a future video, maybe next week, when I want to talk about champions that need buffs, because those are the same champions that should be demoted. I'll also share how I would buff them. So if you have any buffs that you're dying to see, go ahead and drop a comment now and maybe you'll appear in that video, or maybe thumbs up a comment that you agree with. Anyway, I'm taking it one step further. I'm not talking about just champions that deserve to be upgraded from legendary to mythical, but rather I picked out 4 of my favorite rares that should be upgraded to epics, epics that should be upgraded to legendary, and legendaries that should be upgraded to mythical champions today. You know, there's obviously a lot more than just 4 in each rarity, but what I'm looking for here is champions whose kits, they either guarantee something that most higher rarities usually guarantee at a lower rarity, right? Or they just offer something super unique that you can't even get from higher rarities, right? So they kind of stand alone. So those are what I was looking for here. Let me start with my rares. Some of these are going to be super obvious, some maybe less so. So just depending on how many videos you've watched and my favorite champions will probably dictate what you think of this list. Tree Shield, not for me, is an obvious no-brainer, the best rare reviver in the game, bar none. At least in my opinion. I love this dude. And I love that he's a Sylvan Watcher because it's the newest faction, even though it's not like super new, but a new faction, what, 6 months away? Less than 6 months away. I'm actually kind of intrigued to see what it's going to be here. And I'm also kind of like bittersweet, right? We're filling up all of the faction categories. There's not going to be any more hiddens. I kind of like him. I don't like hiddens because I'm like, when are they going to add the last hidden? Come on, player, it's been 10 years.
Hey, how come you guys got better chairs than me?
It's a secret.
Shut up. Like what?
It's a secret.
Shut up.
But also, when they give it to us, I'll be like, I'm kind of sad there's no more hiddens. Ah, that's just humanity right there, right? We can never be happy. Anyway, Tree Shield not. He revives 2 champions. All other rare revivers only revive 1. It's not the best revive, but no rare revive is that good. Newsflash. They're all pretty crappy when it comes to what they give. He at least gives some Term Eater. He gives a shield as well because they're only going to have 5% HP. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, which again is the standard on rare champions, right? But he revives 2 instead of 1, which is better. 2 is Newsflash. You heard it here first. Ash Ray Shadow Legends, where you get all your edumacation. 2 is better and bigger than 1. Tree Shield's favor. I like his A2 as well. I think it's not just the revive 2. It's also the heal. 15%, granted it's their max HP, but 15% heal is solid. Plus you can get all the lay on hands and healing masteries as well. Heck, you could put him in like a curing set if you wanted to and really kind of amp up the healing he's able to bring to your team. Also an increased defense. Hey, it's a weak version, but at least he's bringing an increased defense, right? On a 3-turn cooldown, especially in areas like faction or kind of limited areas or you know, where you can only use a certain rarity of champion. Like that can be really, really solid and hard to find, you know? And then to add onto all of that, he brings an increase or decreased attack, sure, but a triple hitter on the A1. I love a good triple hitter. Makes him instantly viable for Fire Knight progression areas like that. Great. You can put Giant Slayer on him for a mastery for a tier 6 in the offense tree as well, and really amplify the damage he's able to bring to your team. I really love Tree Shield. To me, he seems like one of the many Revive 2 epics in the game. You know, frankly, better than some of them. So I really do feel like he feels like an epic champion, and a solid one at that, which is the whole point of the video, right? Next one's going to be an old school rare, and I've always felt this, but today I'm making it official, damn it. It's Gnarlhorn. Gnarlhorn, listen, man, a simple kit. He's bring unkillable for 2 turns every 3 turns when booked on his A3. He's got a great kind of ram ability, which makes him a fantastic Phantom Shogun Grove tank on his A1. It can't be critical, strong, or weak on his ram ability, right? Which is great. But he places a on a 3-turn cooldown, he places a provoke, right? He brings his own increased defense, whatever. But honestly, there's a lot of epics in the game that have AoE provokes that are not 100%. I would say like most of the epics that have AoE provokes are not 100% land rate. It's not predicated on a critical hit because he's not attacking, he's just placing, which is very nice as well. Can't land a weak hit, thus not land the provoke. So I love that. I love that he's not hitting there. And overall, 3-turn AoE provoke is just super freaking hard to find, even among epics, right? Even among epics. He's certainly the only rare that has that ability on an AoE, on a 3-turn cooldown. Heck, there's even legendary champions out there. You know, I'm looking at you, Sigmund, who have AoE provokes at a 75% land rate, right? Granted, the rest of his kit is more robust, obviously, but this is a legendary champion than a Gnarlhorn, right? So I think Gnarlhorn deserves a spot on the list. All right, Captain Obvious time. Yeah, she's still the GOAT, Coldheart, but she belongs here. What can I say, right? She's still the best rare in the game in a vacuum, in my opinion. Probably your opinion too, probably. Quad hitter on the A1, as if that's not enough. 100% heal reduction on each hit, 35% chance or 40% chance with the sniper mastery. That's almost a guaranteed, not really, not quite, but very close. A really good shot when booked at landing that heal reduction. Fantastic for Fire Knight situations, especially, but anytime that you want to place that old heal reduction on a boss, right? Or on anybody for that matter. An AoE with some decent damage on her A2, and of course, the big kind of daddy of all the rare abilities in the entire game in Heartseeker. Heartseeker has enemy max HP, right? Same enemy max HP modifier, damage multiplier modifier of like a Royal Guard, right? Granted, single target, but what she brings that he doesn't bring is the full turn meter reduction. This is not an epic-like ability. No. This is most certainly a legendary-like ability on the A3. And that's not hyperbole. That is fact. That is fact. That's a really good ability. You add that to 2 decent, like I'd score her A1, you know, S tier for a rare especially. Her A2, even in a vacuum, maybe B tier. And then her A3, S tier again. This is a rare champion, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, I can't even speak. I'm so confounded by her kit. All right, and then last we have, I've always loved this champion, but lately it seems like she's getting more and more credit. Painkeeper is better, fact, than a lot of epics in the game, right? I mean, this combat tactics, the 1 turn of all ally skills reduction, super powerful. So many areas you can build 2 Painkeepers. You only have to gear. She's not very gear intensive, right? And then she has the HP based on her max HP heal, right? So she brings a significant heal to the table. She brings a little turn meter fill on her own with a dual hitter on the A1, but really that combat tactics, right? Getting those reduced cooldowns. For progression, she's great, and then for endgame, she's great too, with kind of the double or even the triple Painkeeper team. So I've always thought Painkeeper was really just one of the better rares out there in the game. A champion that honestly too, I really didn't fully respect or at least acknowledge how good she was in the early days when I was playing Raid. It took me a while to really appreciate the superb abilities and skills of the Painkeeper. Let's move to the epics, guys. It's epic time. Here we go. We're gonna go with Captain Obvious right out the gate. It's Geomancer. I think a lot of people would objectively say, kind of like Coldheart's the best rare, that Geo is the best epic, right? And for good reason, right? He's got a very nice AoE on the A1. He's got a great A2 where he's removing buffs and attacking or stealing buffs if they're under a burn. Fantastic. He's got this ability that even in a vacuum, without his busted passive, which makes everything so unique and powerful about this champion, the Quicksand Grass, guys, fully depletes target's turn meter, right? Like solid a la Coldheart, right? Fills his champion's turn meter by the amount the target loses. Beautiful. And then a 3-turn burn and a 3-turn big version of Weaken on a 3-turn cooldown. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's the best. He's probably, it's hard to say he's the best burner in the game, but he's certainly the most unique because of the Stone Guard passive, where he's reflecting damage, not just him, but all allies receive from enemies under burn back to the attacker. That makes him one of the best boss killers, whether you're Nether Spider, whether you're Iron Twins, or anything in between. One of the best boss killers in Raid Shadow Legends right there in Geomancer. I love a good provoker, guys. What can I say? And I love me the man in, I was gonna call him the man in blue. Apparently I'm colorblind.
I have light gray, medium gray, dark gray.
You do?
Man, I forgot.
My bad, I'm colorblind.
The man in green and white and gold, I think. Skoramus. You guys know I love this dude, you know? It's just the most beautiful kit. I gotta hand it to Plarium, right? Whoever designs these champions, in a game with 1,000 champions, in a world with 1,000 champions, one. But they seriously find a way to come up with like really unique kits with 1,000 champions. Kits that really are synergistic and stand out like Skaramis, right? He's about a year or two old now, but man, he's a great example. And an AoE placing of Provoke, we talked about that with Gnarlhorn, how good that is. He also brings a counterattack continuous ult. This is on all a 3-turn cooldown. Great control here. More control in the A1. He's stealing turn meter. He's stunning. Now, it says 20% chance to place a stun or 30% chance for 1 turn of the target's turn meter is fully depleted by this skill. And at first, when I first glanced at this kit when he was added to the game, I thought to myself, what's the odds that they're going to have a fully depleted turn meter by this skill? It's only a steal of 15%, but it actually happens all the time because, remember, he's getting attacked by enemies under Provoke. Thus, their turn meter is going to be 0 or close to. He's going to go in and land a stun on them, right? So a Provoke going into a stun in a lot of situations. And then the beautiful A2 is just so good. It's an AoE. It can deal decent damage, a decreased attack, decreased duration of all enemy buffs. I mean, that alone is money, but then fills his champion's turn meter by 10% for each buff that's had its duration decreased. So man, if you go against a team of 5 champions with 2 buffs each, that's not that high of a threshold. You get 100% turn meter fill, right? Provided that you decrease the duration of all those buffs on a free turn cooldown. That helps him get back to his A3 even faster, thus more provokes, thus more control. A beautiful kit, nice damage, great control, great champion. Okay, we're gonna talk about the lady. The lady, it's Seer. It's Seer because Seer has the best nuke in the game. Still in the conversation, right? Listen, there's the Calamitous, there's Siegfried, there's a lot of options, right? Mythicals I'm comparing her to, by the way. But Karma Burn is still really the creme de la creme, right? It's a beautiful ability. It's a beautiful nuke. If you don't kill him, you can put him to sleep. You know, we don't write home about sleep here, but that's solid too, right? For wave content especially. But man, Seer reset teams against waves. But not just that. Seer, you can see some unorthodox Seer arena teams can be effective with a buff heavy meta, obviously. But even against like event dungeons and stuff like that, like oftentimes I ask myself, okay, when tackling new content in the game, am I going to use Seer or am I going to use Geomancer, right? Because I'm sure you're the same, especially if the boss has minions like the event dungeons, right? Seer, she's the best. That's it. Karma Burn. Just absolutely decimate everything on the battlefield. Enough said. Last, I chose, you guys know that I love this dude. A lot of you guys do too. A lot of smart viewers here on the channel. Inquisitor Shimmy. For me, he's nasty, right? Because he's by far and away the best fear and true fear remover in the game. It happens instantaneously to everybody on your team. Whenever they get a fear or true fear, it's removed. Then he can fill turn meter of the lead in the team as well. He can potentially ignore 100% defense in a hard-hitting A2. Ignore 100% defense on an epic champion. That's unique in its own right. By the way, he also places True Fear on all enemies if you kill an enemy, which gives him some kind of wave control viability as well. He has this A1 that auto-attacks. So much flexibility with how you build this champion. He can be just like uber nuker. You can throw him in a toxic set for a little bit of poisons because of all these counterattacks. But either way, that Dauntless, man, that's something that no legendary in the entire game has. And Inquisitor Shamil, he's got it. All right, legendary time, guys. I'm going to start with, and I'm not doing this to pander. I'm not doing this just to say, oh, look at this. I threw in a bunch of free farmable champions on the list just to make sure you guys all have the champions. No. Lydia is very mythical-like because she has a lot going on, right? I love it. Deathhold is very unique. She's the only champion in the game. I love just putting her in areas like the Frost Spider where you're like, I don't feel like running the HP burn. I'm just going to run Lydia. They'll never come back. Or I just throw her into my Ice Golem team. I'm not going to worry about those auto revives. We're just going to block it, right? And her revive on that passive, it ignores block revive. It's the only ability that does this to begin with, and it's the only ability in the game that ignores block revive. Really unique, very cool. But the Siren's Wail, really, her A1 or A2 are solid, or A3, excuse me, are solid. But this Siren's Wail, guys, I mean, I think we take it for granted, right? Because we've had her for a while, and it's just like, okay, we know it's good, it's whatever. But there's what, 5 champions, 6 champions maybe in the game. Maybe a few more now, right? There's like Sheska and Draco, but with the weaken and decreased defense, Venus, and there's quite a few now. Nell has it, right? But back in the day, decreased defense and weaken alone on an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. Bellinor, right? I'm trying to think of all the champions in the background here. Yeah, she's one of them. She's Void Affinity, which is great too. But then bringing 2 of the strongest buffs on the same ability on a 3-turn cooldown is just insanely good. I submit that Siren's Wail is in really, really contention. It might be the best ability in the game, you know? I mean, you can sit here and argue that, like, you know, there's a lot of abilities that could be in the conversation, whether you're looking for damage or revive or something like that. But in terms of buffs and debuff combo platter, this is it right here. This is the best. This is the best. You get increased speed, check. Weaken, check. Decreased defense, check. Strengthen, sure. Damage mitigation, speed, and damage maximization on the as well. On the same ability, on an AoE. Yeah, she's I wish you could have more than one of her. Right? That's my only complaint. All right. Next up is going to be Captain Obvious time. He's still the GOAT, man, or the horse, I guess. The steed. It's Marius the Gallant. Man, this guy's... Do I even need to say anything about this dude, right? He's defense-based, so he's tanky. He's super fast. He's farmable. He brings increased accuracy, increased defense for 3 turns on a 4-turn duration when booked. For the entire team, he's not selfish. You're stunning the enemy with the highest turn meter, getting the extra turn. You have the enemy max HP ability. You have decreased duration of all buffs. You have insane damage. He is probably the most viable and strong champion when we look at both the arena or PvP in general and PvE in almost every area, right? This dude is more valuable and more used than most mythicals in the game, you know? It's right there. It's Marius. I gotta say, I'm giving Playerm a lot of credit in this video. I might need a little checkup after this. But I gotta say, you can complain about a lot in Raid, and you'd be right. But they do give really good champions. They might not be easy to get, but they do give really good champions, like really good, that everybody eventually will have access to. Okay, I want to go with a champion that I don't have, and this might be a little bit of a curveball for a lot of people watching this video, because so far it's been pretty chalk, right? Like, okay, we know that these champions are really good, Ash. We know, they're familiar. No big surprises, but maybe Queen of Hearts will surprise some of you guys. I've wanted her for a while now. I don't have her on my account, but I do think that she actually belongs on the list. I think she is an S-tier champion. In the arena, she's amazing. This Hail to the Queen, for every 10 buffs the enemy receives, grants this champion an immediate turn, basically, an instant turn. I don't like the verbiage of extra turn there. I like an instant turn. Anyway. This makes her so powerful in the arena because if you don't go first, what's going to happen? In a lot of situations, a turn meter booster is going to go. Maybe like an Arbiter, right? So like there's 4 buffs right there. Maybe a Lazarius, that's 8 buffs right there, right? It's not very hard, you know, bolster set, whatever, right? It's not very hard to activate those 10 buffs now. You got to be very careful at all times in the arena when going against Queen of Hearts. I've had it happen a million times because if you go first... Yeah, yay, I went first. But then what happens, right? She goes in there, she removes all those buffs. She places Death Brand, so if they die, they can't come back unless Lydia's passive kicks in. And then a True Fear on all enemies, right? Fills the champion's turn meter by 5% for each buff removed by this skill. That can be a massive turn meter fill again. And so this is all very unique, obviously, for any champion, let alone, I mean, she's the only champion in the game with Death Brand, for example. Only champion in the game with Hail to the Queen, right? She brings a lot of utility here. But then she's also the only non-mythical to bring an increased attack on an ally attack. Increased attack on an ally attack, I can't overstate how powerful that is next to Mikage, right? Because it's the quintessential way to set up your nukers. So cool. And then she has synergy with decreasing the cooldown, again, off with their heads. She has an AoE with a big version of decreased defense on the A1 with turn meter fill. How many other champions in the game have that? None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. This is so much unique in one kit. I mean, even the A1, that reads like an A3 of most champions. She's insane. She is really insane. Listen, before the last champion on the list, there could have been 100. I could easily do a part 2 of this episode. So because I snubbed a random champion, these are just the first ones that came to mind when I read that comment. And it's going to be Newt. Newt. Still to this day, obviously we have other options like a Marius, who wasn't in the game when Newt was a fusion, enemy max HP options. However, I still think that Newt, in terms of damage in PvE, he can outclass a lot of mythical champions, obviously, with the Blessed Bash. He's got the triple hitter with the enemy max HP. I mean, what do you want? He has a built-in cruelty mechanic. Each hit decreases target's defense by 3 up to 30%. They're like, Plarium's like, yeah, let's just give him the best enemy max HP ability in the game. And then let's build in the cruelty blessing into the ability and then heal him at the same time. Why not? And then it's not just that, right? I mean, he's got the cool little passive, whatever. But the A2 is super, super solid. Big version weakened, sure. Counterattack on himself, why not? He's got a busted A1 too. Decrease attack for damage mitigation, good damage, sign me up. And then the Dwarven might be, it's hard to say it's the best part. I mean, it's not the best part of his kit, but it's a damn good one. It just makes him the best Fire Knight champion in the game, arguably, at least in terms of like his control, whether you're Fire Knight normal, Fire Knight hard, or just anywhere else in the game. Let's be honest, it's a great ability. Triple hitter, 100% chance of decreasing target's turn meter by 15% on each hit. Little mini allure going on over here, who could have been on the list, I guess. If the target's turn meter is not decreased, aka Fire Knight hard, places a freeze on each hit. On each hit, he's got the turn meter decrease, which basically stands in for turn meter decrease on Fire Knight hard, as you guys know. There it is, guys. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with my picks, first of all? Be critical. Do you disagree strongly? Am I over-hyping any of these champions, A? And B, who's the champion that I left off that you really felt just should have been there, should have popped in my mind before one of these champions? Let me know in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.